I can summarise the entire Blackpill ideology in just these 3 points. Number 1. A woman will decide if a man is date worthy or not in roughly half a second. Number 2. You cannot change a woman's mind once it's already been made up. Lastly, number 3. All women share the same mind. These 3 statements alone can pretty much summarise the entire narrative of the Black Pill. Let's break it down further. We'll start with number 1. A woman will make up her mind in less than half a second. This is effectively saying that a woman's decision is based entirely on what can be seen on the outside. She'll take one glance at you and decide within a split second either yes or no. And this concept has been exacerbated even further in recent years because of the explosion of dating apps such as Tinder and OkCupid. So, what are the main reasons for why Blackpillers believe this? Well, let's have a look at the first impressions that a woman can get from a man after meeting him for the first time. What kind of information is available just from looking at him? Well, she'll be able to see how facially attractive he is. She'll know a rough estimate of his height. She'll be able to see his build, frame, strength, health, and she'll probably have a good guess of how old he is as well. She'll likely be able to identify his ethnic background, his religion, languages. She'll be able to identify what kind of facial expression he is feeling at the moment. She'll see what clothes he's wearing, what his style is, and she'll get a decent idea of how hygienic he is, how well groomed he keeps himself. So all of these things, that's a lot of information. You'll be able to get a rough but a decent idea of what a person will be like just from these first impressions alone. And the point is, if a woman doesn't find one or more of these traits that you have attractive, then she'll have no reason to see you as a potential dating option. And as I've said, it's only been made easier because of these dating apps. They are built on eliminating people based on these first impressions. The last point I want to make on this is that the words spark or click are often used in the context of dating and attraction. And when you think of the word spark, you're thinking of some instant connection, some sudden release of energy, it's explosive, it's fiery, and so on. So therefore, when people are talking about this spark when it comes to attraction, it's usually going to be referring to these first impressions. Or put simply, any spark or click equals looks. Point number 2, you cannot change a woman's mind. So obviously, we've stated that we have our first impressions, but that's not the whole story, because obviously you're going to have long-term information as well. As you get to know somebody more, you're going to find more about their personality. The man might be able to use game and his pickup skills to be able to build attraction. Money is a factor, status, your social circles, what sort of interests you have, your goals, your hobbies, what talents you have. Do you have a lot in common? So the point is, on top of all of these first impressions, you also have this long-term info that also needs to be taken into account. But it's a huge misconception that people think that if they get these things wrong, that you'll be able to compensate and save yourself by having lots of points in these departments. And most of these are things that you can improve in. And by the way, I haven't mentioned this yet, anything that I've highlighted in purple is something that you are very limited in terms of changing. You are pretty much stuck with the hand that you were dealt with. And I say that this is a misconception because it is near impossible for you to win her over by compensating with any of these things. The way I see it instead is that both of these 2 stages should be seen as 2 separate filters. You need to be able to get through filter 1 to be able to reach filter 2. But if you never get past filter 1, then it is impossible for you to get through filter 2. It's pointless having all of these things which can potentially build attraction if the attraction wasn't there to begin with. Put simply, the way I like to put it is that it's pointless having the best job interview skills in the world if your resume had been chucked out weeks ago, before you even got a chance to show up at the interview. And the point is, this, your first impressions, is your resume. Meanwhile this, your personality, your game, is your job interview. I hope that analogy makes sense. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, now I've got 2 of the reasons out of the way, now is a good time to press the like button of the video as it helps the YouTube algorithm. Lastly, point number 3. All women share the same mind. If we dissect this, it's pretty much saying that attractiveness is objective, that women are going to be in agreement of what the things that are attractive are. You can break this down in terms of height, in terms of face, in terms of body. And the point is, women are usually going to have the same opinions for what is attractive and what isn't attractive. So starting with height. This chart measures which heights for a man a woman will deem acceptable to see as a potential male partner. If we look at the extremes of the graph, an unbelievable 90% of women see any man 5'4" or below as undate worthy. Moving on to facial attractiveness. I think everyone can agree that most women are going to rate each of these men's attractiveness in this kind of order. And yes, there might be some minor disagreements. They might swap 1 or 2 of the faces around. However, it's near impossible for a woman to rate the men like this. This ranking is so convoluted, there is no consistency, and it looks like the men have been rated at random. It's common sense that some people are going to be more attractive than others. Lastly, taking a look at bodies, it goes without saying which body is the most attractive out of these three. So, those are the 3 points that summarise the Blackpill. Obviously, this isn't perfect, nothing is, and there will be exceptions. In fact, I have a video outlining 8 exceptions. It's a really good video, I highly recommend you check it out. A link will definitely be in the description below. And if you're interested in finding out more about facial attractiveness, I'd highly recommend watching my video on the mathematically perfect face, starting with the perfect jawline. Let me know any thoughts you have in the comments below, and like the video already if you haven't, as it helps the YouTube algorithm.